BYU has decided to take athletics seriously. And it is not that BYU has put athletics on the back burner in the past. It's not that the fans aren't passionate and don't pack things out. It's not that money has not been spent on making sure that Provo is a legitimate sports power. But it kind of is that last one. See, BYU itself has had very responsible pockets. They're not like a Texas A&M doling out $68 million for a guy's buyout. And typically what BYU does is they don't go for the flashy hire. They go for a regional hire. The small town guy, the Utah guy, the dude who you might know if you're in and around Salt Lake, who's been an assistant at BYU, who's been at Utah, who's been at Utah Valley. They're going to hire that guy who's going to build the program up. And you're going to see the ascension of what these coaches are able to do from really a rags to riches scenario. Oftentimes, BYU is not making the splash hire. When they brought in Mark Pope in basketball, I said, Mark who? I wasn't alive when he played for Kentucky. He didn't really do anything at Utah Valley. He still hasn't won an NCAA tournament game. My question was, can this guy win NCAA tournament games at BYU? The answer was no. Take that, Mark Pope, who won't even say BYU anymore. Now, with the hiring of Kevin Young as the basketball coach in Provo, a whole new era just started. $30+ million being doled out to this guy. The question that I have, when not just when BYU came in the conference, but even a year in, almost a year into having BYU in the Big 12, has been, will they spend the money? The facilities are there. The fan base, the support is there. The money is there from big-time donors. And I understand that given the culture, the commitment to ethics and morals, that BYU doesn't have the strongest NIL, and they're not going to be built on NIL. They should not be, because of their commitment to things that matter so much more than money. But in college athletics, it's not a bad idea to spend money. And that's what they're doing with Young. So while some people are, and not idiots, were considering high school coaches for the BYU job, instead, Tom Holmoe said, wait a second, I can go get the highest paid NBA assistant, the number one NBA assistant who could be a head coach in this league, and I'll give him $30+ million, thanks to some sponsors as well. That is insane. That is a statement that BYU is not here to mess around. I'm still waiting on a Houston, on a Cincinnati to make those kind of statements, to say, all right, we're ready to be a Power 4 school. We were ready to compete in the Big 12. Again, I know in the past, I've told you some real nice things about BYU because they have a soft spot for me because of the commitment to faith. This isn't blowing hot air up your skirt. Objectively, I am impressed. I am surprised, and I am very interested to see what happens next, considering how BYU has structured the contract of Young and decided, you know what? Fine. Watch this. When the institution who is a flagship for the second fastest growing religion in America, the world, is running the show athletically, there is money there. There's definitely, it's on the table. And now that you show, hey, we'll spend it. We're not going to keep getting the high school coach. We're not going to just hire the guy from Utah Valley or the assistant from Utah. We're not going to hire that good old football coach who is an alumni of BYU. No, we'll still hire within the church, but we're going to hire the biggest freaking name possible within the church. For everybody else in the conference, when a school that has the alumni base BYU has, for a school that has the alumni support BYU has, when they start digging into those pockets, start spending the money out of those pockets, out of the pockets of the folks in the LDS church who love BYU, who went to BYU, things get real dangerous for everybody else, because I just don't know at their peak from a donor standpoint if anybody can compete with BYU. When that is unlocked, when that chest is unlocked and they say, fine, we'll spend some money. Oh, baby. It's like the Dallas Cowboys. They don't spend money. They don't. Like BYU, they don't really spend money. They do things the good old-fashioned way. Till this time around, they decided if we're going to be Power 4, we're going to have to go after the flashy name, and we're going to get them. Displaying to me that BYU has always been able to get these guys. They're just willing to do it now as a big boy program. They have put their big boy pants on. Congrats. Welcome to the big leagues. You just showed to the rest of the conference, you're not afraid. You're not afraid to compete from a financial standpoint. And when you're BYU, that scares everybody else because BYU's got some money. If you'll spend it, it's going to work out real nice. Coming back next week, I'll be in the Grand Canyon, so some of the shows will be kind of spotty, sporadic maybe. I'll have some shows, I'll have not shows. We'll see. I'm going to keep you on your toes. I'm going to Grand Canyon. I'm locked on. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. Dose grande.